Hey guys, happy Thursday. We are almost, we only have 6 chapters left in The Wild Robot. So we are almost done with this book. It's been pretty great. I kind of really enjoyed reading this. I hope you guys have too. So I think we're going to get to some conclusions and figure out what happens with Roz and Bright Bill and Dr. Malovo and everything. Let's see. Chapter 8. Yesterday we left Roz. We found out that she got a new body from Dr. Malovo, a bigger and stronger one. And Roz was worried that her friends and family may not recognize her. And she said, I'm sure you can convince them of who you are. And then Dr. Malovo said, speaking of your family, there's someone here to see you. So I wonder who's there to see Roz. Chapter 84, The New Mother. Bright Bill was there when his mother smashed against the pavement. He watched as her body parts were loaded into an airship. He followed the airship all the way back to the robot factory, and he perched himself up on the rooftop. But he didn't know what to do next. Strutter stopped by to check on Bright Bill. She encouraged him to fly home, but the goose wasn't ready to let go. His little heart still hoped for his mother to come back from the dead somehow. He'd seen it happen before. As the hours passed over, however, this hope had started to fade. And then one of the roof windows automatically slid open. The goose heard gentle music coming from inside the building. He fluttered through the window and followed the music down a hallway to a wooden door. The door was open, and the goose stepped in. Bright Bill waddled past tall bookshelves and leather furniture into the middle of a large room. An old woman was sitting in a chair, and a robot was standing by a mirror. The goose didn't recognize either of them. And when the robot rushed toward them, Bright Bill squawked, "Stay back!" And he scrambled away. Around the room he went, squawking and flapping until he settled into a table in the corner, looking lost and afraid. The robot stayed where she was. "Bright Bill, it is me, your mother." The goose just stared. "I know I look different on the outside," the robot went on, "but on the inside, I am the same. I still speak the language of the animals, and I still remember every detail of our life together. I remember sitting around the fire at our home on the island. I remember the first time you took flight. We were up on the grassy ridge, and you stretched out your wings, and suddenly you were floating on the wind. But then you flopped back into the grass. You must have flopped into the grass 100 times that day, and I remember visiting the robot gravesite together. We talked about life and death. It was a tough conversation, but a very good one." As the robot started to speak, the goose began to relax. She certainly didn't act and sound like his mother, but Bright Bill wasn't yet convinced. "If you really are my mother," he said, "tell me the name of our home." "The nest." "Who's my best friend?" "Chit-Chat, the squirrel. She talks a lot." "How old was I when you adopted me?" "You were 0. Actually, you were less than 0. I mean, you were still in your egg, but I could hear you peeping." And with those bumbling words, Bright Bill knew the truth. "Oh, Mama, it really is you." The goose fluttered across the room and ran to his mother's arms. The arms were new and familiar, but they were also gentle and comforting. "I love you, Mama." "I love you, son." From the other side of the room came the sound of sniffles. Our friends turned and saw Dr. Malovo wiping tears from her eyes. "I have no idea what you two were saying," she said, "but that was wonderful." Okay, for today's activity, I want you guys to do a comparison picture. So I want you to take a piece of paper and fold it in half. And on one half of the page, I want you to draw what Roz's old body looked like. And then on the other half of the page, I want you to draw what Roz's new body looks like. We know that there's some similarities, right? And the author says it looked kind of the same, but it was just, it resembled her old body, but the portions were slightly different. She looked stronger and felt tougher. And there were other differences. There no buttons, and there was nothing, Rosm 7134 wasn't etched on her chest. So we know those are differences, so be sure to include those in your drawing, but also maybe include how you think what some other changes might be, changes that they didn't talk about in the book. How do you think the old Roz, we know how she looked, and then how do you think the new Roz looked? So draw your pictures and send them to me. I want to see them. Okay, see you guys.